Hello everyone. As you can see, I'm not wearing my usual jacket. I do have more than one jacket, and it's pretty cold up here right now. As you can see, I have a new background. This isn't a filter. It wiggles. I tried a digital filter, but I'm not the most technological person, so. And a viewer corrected me on the aliens I called the Z. The way he didn't give me a direct, like, oh, this is how you pronounce it. He basically suggested call them alien monsters, because that's what the translation is. So I'm just going to call them aliens from now on. I hope you enjoy this video. O.C.C, Occupational Character Class. The reason I believe they didn't cover this in the glossary of role-playing terms is because it's pretty self-explanatory. The Human O.C.C list. As I said, I'm covering just human O.C.Cs in this video. Watch for further videos if you want the aliens. Now I'm covering 4. The 4 are going to be Destroid Pilot, Field Scientist, Veritech Fighter Pilot, and Military Specialist. Now I'm covering Destroid and Field Scientist as if they're going to be playing in the same campaign. I'm covering Veritech Pilot as if it could be played in any campaign, because it kind of can, but it's also a bit niche, because it's kind of a powerful system. And Military Specialist, which is really set up for its own type of campaign, espionage. And I'll explain why when I get there. Selecting an O.C.C. I could explain this word for word, but there are 3 very simple words I can use to describe this. Ask your GM. The reason why I say that is because your GM most likely has a campaign in mind, which most likely means that he has certain O.C.Cs he has selected for that campaign. That doesn't mean automatically you can't play them all, but ask your GM first and he'll tell you which ones you should look at first. Now, starting with Destroid Pilot. Once again, I'm not going to read these word for word. I just need to read usually the first sentence or 2 of each of them. Like right here. The Destroid Pilot is the elite grunt of the Robotech Defense Force. Elite grunt. That's why the requirement is only an IQ of 6. They are grunts. These grunts can be captains, but they're still just grunts. Now here's something that's very important. O.C.C skills. I'm going to repeat word for word what another YouTuber, Heathen Dog from Legion of Myth specifically, said at one point. Take away 1 O.C.C skill from any Palladium O.C.C, and you are no longer that O.C.C, period. These right here are the base requirement skills you need to be your O.C.C, period. As you can see, Pilot Automotive, Pilot Mech, all Destroids, very important. Mecha Combat, choose 2. This is important because though you can pilot all mechs, being able to combat one is a lot harder than it sounds. So in the end, knowing how to fight in one Destroid is different from knowing how to fight in another. That's why you have to select 2. Weapon systems, that's universal. Hand-to-hand basic, and of course additional mech combat. I don't think you're ever going to need more than just 2 mech combat abilities, but that's up to the player. I'm not going to read off the other skills because these are related skills. You don't need these to play your O.C.C. You just get bonuses for some of them because they are related to your O.C.C. Monthly wages. These are very important because some players, I myself, depending on the circumstance and the mentality of the character I'm going for, I'll actually choose my O.C.C. based on how much they get a month. You can see here, Field Scientist O.C.C. The Field Scientist is a jack of all trades. This is very important. This is why I put them in the same league of importance as the Destroid Pilot. Because if you only have 2 players, the 2 O.C.Cs I suggest is a Destroid Pilot and a Field Scientist. The Field Scientist is the O.C.C. that I would suggest above all others, as long as you have at least 1 pilot in your team. Because the Field Scientist, at some point, is always going to shine, period. Their primary O.C.C. skills are computer-based, computer operation, computer programming, medical paramedic, mathematics basic, mathematics advanced, and paramedic can be upgraded to medical doctor, but that costs 2 skills. Count as 2 skills. Now, here's where I'm going to explain to you where the Field Scientist really shines in almost every single campaign. We go straight down to electronics, any, very important. Mechanical, any, very important. The fact that you have 18 skills you could choose from, and the fact that mechanical and electrical are any, you can set this guy up to be a field repairman that may not be as efficient as the mechanical or the electrical engineer is by themselves, but under most circumstances, they at the very least will be able to limp the mech home, which can save a character's life very easily. Because if with no mech, your team is going to go down. If there's only 1 mech in the team, that mech needs to be kept running, and the Field Scientist can help do that. If no one's interested in the mechanics and no one's interested in the electrical, you should at least try the Field Scientist. The Field Scientist actually only makes marginally more than the Destroid Pilot, as you can see, but it is more. The VeriTech Fighter Pilot O.C.C. Show you the picture real quick. That's a picture of the cockpit. Looks pretty good. The VeriTech Fighter Pilot is the very elite of the Robotech Defense Force. That's the reason why I didn't throw them in immediately as, well, you should look at this for every campaign. They are elite, and throwing them in every campaign kind of takes that from them. And I like to follow the book as much as possible. Attribute requirements. IQ 8, PP 9, or higher is preferred. But in the end, as long as you have the base requirement. OCC skills. Pilot jet. Pilot VeriTech fighter. Mech combat. VeriTech fighter only. Weapon system. Read sensory instruments. Hand-to-hand combat expert. As these are your additional skills. You get 14 as the VeriTech pilot. See the ones that you get, ones you get bonuses for. The Military Specialist OCC. The Military Specialist is highly trained in combat and espionage. That's very important. They are an espionage OCC, and I feel they should not be played in a big stompy robot campaign. Not to say they don't have their place. These are great if you want an espionage campaign, in which case I suggest pretty much everybody be a military specialist. Otherwise, during a big stompy robot campaign, the military specialist will have very little opportunity to shine. In a vice versa situation where it's an espionage campaign, a pilot will have very little opportunity to shine. These two OCCs should never really be mixed. A military specialist OCC should almost be played exclusively by itself. Not a solo campaign, just in a group of other military specialists. Attribute requirements. IQ 10, PP 10. OCC skills. Intelligence, like gathering intelligence. Interrogation, pilot automobile. Weapon proficiency, revolver. Weapon proficiency, sub and fully automatic rifles. Hand-to-hand, expert, or martial arts. Choose one. Now note, I didn't point it out before. I probably should have. All the others do not get espionage skills. He gets espionage skills because he is an espionage character. I'll let you just read the three before for their how much wages they get, which you've seen topped out at about 4,000. These guys, when they freelance, can get up to 36,000 per job, but that depends on the danger. The more danger you're willing to endure, the higher the payload. Education and skills. The characters in this game are all highly educated or specially trained, which is true. For example, the destroid pilot would be considered specially trained, and the field scientist would be considered highly educated. Now, what does this really mean? Skills and all that. Well, skills are broken down into percentages. Back when this game started, they said you rolled a d10, and now you roll percentile. When you roll percentile, you have a chance of hitting between 1 and 100 percentile. Each skill has a percentage chance of you succeeding. Each skill will list the percentage chance. Now, I'm not going to cover each skill completely. I'm not even going to cover one skill from each category. That would make way too long a video. However, I am going to cover 3 very useful skills. 1, mecha mechanics. 2, boxing. Everybody's favorite. I'll show you why a lot of people take that in this game. And I would read to you VeriTech fighter pilot skills, but they are descripted only in the OCC. Let's get started. First, mecha mechanics. A comprehensive knowledge and ability to repair, build, and modify mecha, including destroids and alien battle pods, and power armor. Very important. VeriTech fighters are not included. VeriTech mechanics. A very special skill dealing with the repair, building, and modifications of the VeriTech. Boxing. Classic art of fighting with fists. Training helps build the body and reflexes. Skilled boxers will automatically knock out an opponent on a natural 20. 4, 1d6 rounds. Unlike normal knockout stun, it does not have to be declared before the strike roll. Now here's the important thing, the one thing that everybody wants this skill for. 1 additional attack per melee round. But a lot of DMs, including myself, will say this applies only to your physical combat. Ranged combat such as guns, this will not work for. The other bonuses you get are +1 to parry and dodge, +1 to roll with punch fall, +2 to physical strength, and a +3d6 to your SDC. Very important if you're outside your armor, as long as you're not in mega damage combat. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it, and if you did, like, share, and subscribe. And if you like my new background, let me know. If not, also let me know. I hope you have a great week.